All you, babe.
No.
How you doing today, brother?
I can't complain. My chest is tight, but we ready to go.
Everybody down bad, huh?
Mine's a little bit more permanent, but we still.
Hey, praying for all today.
Yes, sir. We're live. Wild card weekend, week 19. Week 19?
Week 19.
Week 19. All right, give me a second here. We're going to start it up. So I got some best bets, man, off the Earl. How y'all feeling today, man?
Fired up.
I feel good, man. Thursday always been my favorite day of the week. I'm having a solid day today, so I'm ready to unwind, man. It's been a week. Oh. All right. That.
All right, we live. What's the Line podcast, week 19. Very profitable week. All right, before we get started, let me send this up. All right, let's get it going, gentlemen. Remember, we're not even touching the Monday night game. We're not even touching that. Laugh. All right, let's get it. And we're back. Annie up. Sheesh. Meticulous Mark P. I'm sorry about that. And we're back. What's the Line podcast presented by Annie Up Consulting. Week 19, wildcard weekend. I'm your host, the meticulous Mark P. Feeling a little under the weather today, but best bets. Gotta still play. Gotta still let them go. Rome, how you feeling, man? People's champ with us. 3-man week.
Ready to go. Week 18, Bears under 43 came home. It was a fun ride this year, so I'm ready to continue this roll into the playoffs.
All right, and we got Soundman with us, the fans fan. Soundman, how you feeling after week 18?
Feeling good. Regular season has come and gone. It's time for the playoffs. As you've eloquently stated many a times, we kind of been doing well in this playoffs realm since we've been a podcast. So let's keep the good times rolling this year, man.
Yes, sir, indeed.
Yeah, we got to keep doing it, man. Very profitable year. That's what we do here. We win money. I love this podcast personally. We're going into year 5 next year. So got a lot of things on the horizon. A few weeks away from the Super Bowl prop episode. So our 4th annual. So that's something to celebrate. So more on that soon. But let's get into the slate, gentlemen. As this is What's the Line podcast. Week 19, wild card weekend. Let's see who's first on the slate. Oh, San Francisco 49ers are at home. They're laying 9.5, 10 in some spots versus division foe Seattle Seahawks. What's the total in this game?
You got 42 over here.
I'm saying 42. All right, Rome, go to you first. Any thoughts on this game? And then at the end of it, I'll go and get my best bet.
Yeah, I think we're going to start with, the football numbers right there in front of us, 10 at some spots. We see it in a lot of sports. We like catching that 10, that 14, specifically with road teams. And I think this is a good opportunity here to play the Seahawks. I'd rather catch it before I lay it. We do know, obviously, that the 49ers are one of the hottest teams in pro football, if not the hottest. But I'm going to go to fade here on the rookie quarterback playing in his first playoff game ever. Geno Smith obviously doing the same, but still having a little bit more experience. Seattle's had a run game all year, and I think they'll be able to depend on that, although Geno Smith has kind of declined here towards the end of the season. But like I said, it's the divisional opponents. They're pretty familiar with the 49ers. There won't be too many nerves in terms of the opponent they're playing. There'll be a lot of familiarity there. And, I mean, I love the fact, I mean, I'm kind of a contrarian better, but I love the fact, Seahawks, didn't cover the 8.5 in week 2, and then they come back, it seems like week 15, and they didn't cover that as well. So, I think a lot of people would be inclined to think, well, what makes them think they'll cover 10? I do. Like I said, just kind of going back to the run game that they have this time of year in the playoffs, it's important to have that run game. Seahawks have had it all year. And then, like I said, going back to the, just the, you could say experience could be the same in terms of playoff experience with Geno and Brock Purdy. Neither have played it, but, I'd rather take the guy who's been in the league for more than a decade here, catching 10 points on the road with a divisional opponent. Lean Seahawks for me probably will pull the trigger once I see a 10.5 pop.
All right, Sound Man, how do you feel about this game? 49ers land 10.
Hefty number, sure. Hefty number. Like the Niners here for kind of all the reasons that Rome said, just on the opposite side here. I mean, the Niners are the hottest team in the NFL, 10 straight. I kind of don't like that, but just judging how the Niners have beaten this team already twice this year, I just don't.
Covered twice too.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they're just really hot. Talk about, a team that likes to run the ball. Obviously, the Niners want to ground and pound the ball as well. Yes, you got your rookie quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant. I'm not the biggest fan of him as well, but I think
I can't forget how many times Brock Purdy did not cover a short line at Iowa State.
It's a different realm here, different regime. You have a really damn good defense behind you, allowing the least amount of rushing yards per game. And you're telling me that these Seahawks that like to run the ball are going to run on them. They haven't done it against the Niners in both games. Seahawks 31st in opponents' rushing yards per game. So, I mean, like, who's going to implement their will more? I definitely can see the 49ers doing it. I can see it being like a slow game early, and then it just get out of hand like it typically does with 49ers games. I think they can cover this and, keep rolling, go for that 11th win in a row. I don't think the, Seahawks have a chance here. They scored 2 touchdowns total in both the games they played against this team. So, I don't know what's different now that we're in the playoffs. I don't know what's going to change here. So, I'll take the points here idiotically, but I think
you'll lay the points.
I'll lay it for sure. I like the 9.5 Niners. I think they're, let's continue rolling and let's look good on all cylinders. And, who cares about Brock Purdy being a rookie out here? We're relying on this veteran defensive team here over Brock Purdy. So, and then they're all healthy as well. All the key players and pieces are healthy. They're really only missing a cornerback that got hurt in like week 5. But other than that, I mean, like, pretty solid. Get the Seahawks out. The Seahawks are lucky to be here right now. So,
yeah, I did see McCaffrey did have some limited practices this week, but see how that goes. But yeah, I actually lean with the Seahawks as well, and it's interesting because I gave out a future today for the 49ers to win the NFC plus 200. So put some money down on that. But I think this one here, I mean, division foe. Even before these last 2 times that the 49ers won, the Seahawks had won 4 in a row against the 49ers. So now you got the 49ers winning 2 in a row. So, I mean, I would definitely lean towards catching the 10 with Seattle. I might, but I'm definitely on the 49ers side. I think they're going to definitely win, but 10 points is a lot. But I do have a best bet in this game I gave out earlier. George Kittle over 3.5 receptions.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep. You can still find that pretty cheap some places. But yeah, I like that a lot. Put a couple units down. So George Kittle over 3.5 receptions is my best bet. But yeah, I lean towards Seattle. But yeah, I gave out a future 49ers to win the NFC plus 200. Ooh, all right. Keep it moving. Wild card weekend. Next game. I want to find out what Rome thinks about this one. Chargers laying 2.5 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Total of 47.5. Doug Peterson 5-1 against the spread in the playoffs. We know he won the Super Bowl championship. Soundman, what do you think about this game?
I'm actually of the same mindset of you. I'd love to hear what Rome has to say. I feel very indifferent about this game. It's just like, is the Jaguars. And, I believe all season when I was here, I would always say, is this the same old whatever team? And I feel like I said that about the Jags a while ago. And they turned out to be the same old Jags throughout, the middle of the season, but make this late playoff push. And just had the luck of being in a shit division. So you're at home and you're playing against these Chargers, who I kind of despise as well. They just play a weird style of football. I really don't know how I feel. I mean, I would love a dog. I feel like, we know the Jaguars kind of play good at home. You got the Chargers coming from out west. Like, I have no idea. One thing I'm gonna defer to Rome here, but one thing I ask, right? Because Rome always talks about splits and line movement and stuff. When this game, when the seating got announced, I feel like this was a pick 'em, and now it's at 2.5 Chargers, and I'm interested as to how it has gotten there. But gun to my head, I mean, if you want me to pick a side, knowing these Chargers, no Mike Williams, I mean,
Is he officially ruled out?
I mean, listen, man, like
Questionable.
the way the man be getting hurt, bro. Like I'd be shocked, honestly, if he goes out there, and even if he goes out there, it could be like that week he had that high ankle sprain, and was out like 2 weeks, came in first fucking drive, he re-injured it and was gone. So I can see that happening again. The Jaguars is hot. Maybe it's time for them to lose, man. Like, I don't know. I have no idea about this game because I have nothing for either team, but I love a dog, but I just can't. I would probably trust Justin Herbert and his team over the Jags for the first time in the offs in a very long time. So I don't know, man. Like, I would lean Chargers here.
Very long time. Feels crazy to say when I don't know. The Jalen Ramsey years felt a little closer than they actually are, 2015, 2016. But that has been a bit, six years now.
6 years, man. That's a long,
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, no, it
man.
is for
So,
sure.
I would lean Jags here, but I expect the Chargers to win. But please tell me how this number got to 2.5 from the pick 'em. That's
Yeah,
all
so
I
it
know.
opened it opened at different books at different numbers. And I think that was the beginning of, this line kind of being all over the place. Sharpest book in the world opened this line at pick 'em. Circa followed shortly after. Chris dropped the line at pick 'em. But you had DraftKings and some of the other square books dropping it at 2.5. But that was really kind of follower line placement. Bookmaker was the first one to drop this line here. So I'm not necessarily sold on, the line movement on this one. I think it's a bunch of hoopla. I don't really have a side on this one. I do lean on the under. Two quarterbacks that have never played in the playoffs. Two head coaches that obviously know what they're dealing with in those quarterbacks and those nerves in those playoffs games. So obviously Mike Williams being hurt, that's it's one of his best targets for Herbert. So I could see, kind of a sloppy, low-scoring game just with the inexperience of the two playoff teams. Doug Peterson is a really good football coach in terms of knowing what his players need in certain situations. In this situation,
Correct.
they're going to need to run the ball just to kind of keep the pressure off Trevor Lawrence. He's also kind of banged up as well. So, his toe is banged up. Not sure how much that'll impact him in the pocket. And then also kind of going back to the point of what the Chargers pride themselves on. They've been pretty bad this year against the run. Doug Peterson obviously big on analytics. I'm pretty sure he'll be looking to run the football in this game. I think what we saw last week when they played Tennessee was kind of it was kind of interesting to see. They only had about 14 carries on the ground. They only ran for 19 total team rushing yards and were still able to win by 4. So I look for that script to be completely different in this game. I look for the Jags to try to run the ball, control clock, control possession. 31 points scored 2 weeks ago in Houston. Okay, great. But they haven't been playing anybody. I mean, going back to what we said, they played Houston 2 weeks ago, Tennessee, and the Jets. 3 teams that aren't necessarily good, but what do the Tennessee Titans pride themselves on? Stopping the run game. And so, like I said, Chargers pretty bad in pro football in terms of stopping the run. So I look for Doug Peterson to try to get that going as opposed to, what we saw last weekend. And then kind of going to the Chargers side, offensively, like I said, Herbert's been all right down the stretch, but this team, I mean, going back to you, it's been really inconsistent in terms of how they win, how they play, when they show up. Chargers are 11-5 ATS. Maybe that's some reason as to why the line has shifted that way. But I will say that the Jacksonville Jaguars have been the Sharps' darling all year long. They've loved playing the Jags. They've been playing them. They were playing them before they even started winning. So, what I've seen from the Jags does not, necessarily move me in terms of, all these covers they've had, basically 5 straight. Might be more than that, but I do know that they've covered in 5 straight games. Maybe that has to come to an end here. I'm not going to get in front of that train on this week, but I do like the under 47. You catch 47.5 at some books.
All right, yeah. I feel like this game is definitely intriguing. Some of the, like the sharpest guys that roam, that we've come up, I guess, kind of respecting or whatever. They all definitely, like, a few of them love the Jaguars this week. This game is definitely a close one. I just feel like the Chargers, they're not necessarily great in this spot. 5-5-1 against the spread is a road fave under Justin Herbert. They also give up a ton of rushing yards. So, I mean, if Doug Peterson can play, this, complementary football, run game, little play action, I think they can have some success. And then the Chargers, we have the experience here with Doug Peterson, right? In the playoffs, won a championship. The Chargers don't have that experience. The only, real, kind of playoff game last year, right? Against the Raiders, where they kind of wanted to tie or whatever that was. So I just feel like this isn't a great spot for the Chargers. So I definitely lean towards the Jaguars. But I also gave out a prop here. Justin Herbert over 7.5 rushing yards, just a half a unit. So that's not a best bet, but I definitely like that a lot. Jaguars give it up to quarterbacks a little bit on the ground. So I lean Jaguars. Could be stronger as the game start or the game is about to start. But I might play this live as well. So, but strong lean on the Jaguars. All right, a few more games for us. That was Saturday. We got to get into the Sunday slate. Bills land 13 against this Dolphins team. No Tua, looks like no Bridgewater as well. Skylar Thompson got hurt in the last game.
It doesn't matter.
What are your thoughts on this one, Ron?
Yeah, Skylar Thompson. I'm sorry. I mean, but that's just not going to cut it. Not in the playoffs. So who are they going to trot out there this week? Are we expecting Tua? Who's playing?
Tua's out. No Tua.
Tua's gone.
Tua's done for the season, huh?
Yes.
I'm not touching this game. I've handicapped it this week. I've tried to figure it out. 14 is pretty steep. But, I'll say this. I'd lay it before I'd catch 13.5 points. I know it's very steep. I know it's in division. I know Miami has covered more games than the Bills this year. But, the momentum the Bills have had is pretty real. We saw it last week. Who's to say that train stops now? And we see these type of motivational moments where teams kind of rally behind other, aspects, whether that being on the field or off the field. I just look for the Bills to kind of, get in, get out, handle business with a team they've been able to beat, this year. And going back to what we saw, maybe 3 weeks ago with the barn burner with Tua, and a lot of people are probably looking at this like, well, they were able to stick in and hang close then, but this isn't the same team on either side. Momentum and motivation is clearly in favor of the Bills here. And in terms of the Dolphins, I mean, they're not the same team. They're shot in the foot. So I'd lay it here, but I'm like I said, I'm not touching this game. Probably, closer to kick. I might sprinkle something on the Bills, but this would be a pizza bet if anything.
Yeah, kind of the same with me. I mean, it's a lot of points. Dolphins actually, I mean, since 2018, 29-1 against the spread division games. This is obviously a playoff game, a little different. But yeah, I just lean with the Bills. I don't know if I can lay that much. You start to think about the next game at the end of that fourth quarter, you're up 20. So I just lean with the Bills, but maybe a teaser candidate on the Bills, but just a lean for me. Soundman, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty much same boat as everybody else. I mean, I would expect the Bills to blow them out, but anything can happen in the the last couple of quarters. These guys are really hot, like Rome said, playing for DeMar at this point. No Tua, no anybody at quarterback for these guys. They're probably gonna get blown out. But to Rome's point, I think go in, handle their business, probably be chilling by the third. And you never know. 13 is a steep number. So, I'm probably not gonna touch this game either. But another team hasn't been in the playoffs in like 6, 7 years, 8. You're just happy to be here at this point. So and you're limping in there. So it should be a shellacking, but I can't touch the third team.
Yeah, I usually like to fade unexperienced coaches and teams in the wild card round specifically. Kind of those hot shot teams or divisional round as well. I remember the Rams when they, first got the golf and everything was popping with them, the Gurley. I feel like I took the Falcons, so I mean, this kind of fits that bill. But 13 points is a lot, but it might be that high for a reason. So, I definitely lean with the Bills, but we'll see what I do with that. Next game, Rome, I want your thoughts on this total. Giants, total of 48 at the Vikings. Vikings land 3. This total was 48 when these two teams played a few weeks ago. But yeah, I did want to go through that. And then Vikings, 15, 27, and 2 against the spread after a win since acquiring Kirk Cousins. Ron, what do you think about this game?
Best bet, Giants +3 on the road this week. This is just one of those games where I think, I've been saying it since week 1. Week 1, I had the Giants +5 at Tennessee. They win outright. I'm a big fan of Brian Daboll. Guy knows football. Guy coaches football. Hell of a motivator, hell of a leader of men, and he also has the X and O's. The Giants have been built for this game all year. This is a team that's established who they are all year. We're going to run the ball, and we're going to ask Daniel Jones to make some key throws in key situations, and that's how we're going to get out of there. Their defense has been good, what's good? Well, good is 16 points in division last week. Good is 12 points in division to the Commanders. And we're talking about divisional games just because these are the teams they played as of recent. They played the Eagles twice recently. The Commanders obviously not moving offenses or great offense by any means, that being the Eagles without, a healthy Hurts last week. But they held them to, 22 points after, giving up 48 points to them a month prior. So I just think this Giants team is in a much better place than the Vikings are coming into this game. I think that game in Lambeau is very indicative of who the Vikings actually are. We've been saying it all year. We think this Vikings team is overachieve. And that's why you're seeing a 3 out there on a team that has, 4 more wins than the other team. I've been looking and waiting for a spot to play against the Vikings. Like I said, 2 weeks ago, it was the Lambeau spot where they were catching 3.5. And then this is another great opportunity to play it. Kirk Cousins, 4:30 p.m. Saturday. Love to fade that. And then, like I said, kind of going back to the footballness of footballness. Made that one up. But, the football, awareness and kind of what Brian Daboll brings to the table in comparison to Kevin O'Connell. So, we've seen O'Connell kind of get up and down on the sidelines this year. We saw him when they were down 30, 33 points, large comeback. I don't think that was much of him. I don't think he makes very great in-game adjustments. And I think, this Vikings team is kind of cruised for the most part this year. They haven't had to do that. Their offense has been pretty sharp, but I think he's kind of neglected that defense. This is a Vikings team in the last few weeks. Obviously they played the Bears, but the last couple of times they've been out there, they've given up 41 points, 24, 36, and 34 points. This is a team that is neglecting the defensive side of the ball. This time of year, that is absolutely what you need. And going back to the point, the Big G, they have a well-balanced offense and defense. Look for them to come out with the outright win here. I like the Giants +3 best bet.
Yep, and Giants, since drafting Daniel Jones, 19-10 against the spread as a road dog.
Is that good?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So they've been profitable in this spot. Sound man, what do you think about this game?
It's another game I felt indifferent on, but I think Rome just swayed me. There's one thing I remember watching last Sunday, to the Brian Daboll point, right? It's fourth quarter, 0-0 on the clock. They put the camera on Daboll, obviously just lost, right? He's just like clapping and shit. Like, yeah. And it just looked like, all right, you know what I'm saying? We just lost to the Eagles by 6 with our second string in type shit.
And certainly covered.
We covered like hell. We rested our guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go in here and kind of get this win, man. Like, I think I'm gonna ride with the Giants here as well. I mean, I've been saying the Vikings are frauds all year. But they, I kind of pick their spots when they win. They just haven't been looking good, man. I mean, they still give it up defensively, and like Tyrone's point, man, they're not addressing defense. You kind of need that in January, February. And then the lasting factor, as a team, as someone who had Kirk on his team, man, if it's not 1:00, like it's just not it. This game isn't at 1:00. Scott, the Giants randomly have his number. I said he's 5-5 all time against them guys. I mean, it's 500, but like it wasn't good. Doesn't have a great outing. 13 tugs, 14 ints. It's like maybe the Giants have his number here, right? So I have no idea. No, actually, I do have an idea. I think we're robbing the Giants here. Go into Minnesota and win Skull Chance and all. That'd be hard. But Brian Daboll seems like the guy for it, man. I think shout out to you, Rome. You just swayed me, man. I'm going with Giants as well, man.
Yep, best bet. Week 19.
It is. All right. Giants is the play. I don't know if I gave too much on this game, but lean Giants as well. And then I also lean towards the under. I think this game is going to be, knuckle up. It's really going to be tough to score points. And Kirk Cousins hasn't been that great this year. So, you know what I mean? Like, if you just look at everything overall. So, I lean towards the Giants as well. Love tough coaches, both rookie coaches here. So we'll see how that goes. All right, last game on the board for us. Ravens at the Bengals. Bengals laying, I'm seeing 9.5 some places, maybe 10, maybe 10.5. Total of 40.5. I guess I'll start with me. I lean towards the Ravens in this one. It's a lot of points. These teams just saw each other back-to-back weeks. It's definitely a divisional game. And then, they covered last week as well. The Ravens did with the third string quarterback. So I just feel like this is a pretty good spot, to cover. This Cincinnati team, undefeated against the spread in the playoffs. However, they were catching points all of those times. Now they're laying over a touchdown in division playoff game. John Harbaugh, 12-7 against the spread in the playoffs. So, and what do we know about all AFC North and NFC West teams under their current regime? They're all 56% or greater against the spread as a road dog. So I lean with the Ravens here. Ron, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I know it sounds weird, but now that you said that, it kind of makes me gonna want to get off the Seahawks here. Just kind of what you said. I mean, with the Ravens, right? I mean, we see it all the time in other sports like pro basketball. A key player gets ruled out. In this analogy, this key player would be Lamar Jackson, and the line jumps. Well, here it was kind of built into the line that Lamar might not play. So, we saw, the announcement come Thursday, I guess, that Lamar was not going to play. And here we are at 9 in division with a team you just got blown out by just last week. It just stinks for the Bengals. And then, kind of going back to something I mentioned earlier in the season. I don't remember if many remember this, but the Bengals are not one of those franchises that consistently win, and more specifically, don't consistently win in the playoffs. Going back to that Antonio Brown, Vontaze Perfect type of hit. That's the last time prior to last year that we saw the Bengals in the playoffs, and I just am not sold on who they've been this year. Kind of turning it up very well on offense. But in terms of, and I think Zach Taylor's done a phenomenal job in terms of in-game adjustments. I think he's definitely grown as a head coach. But I think 9 is just a little too much in division with the way that these teams are going to play this game. The Ravens have to slow this game down to even have a chance. And obviously that kind of gives them an advantage in terms of covering 9 points. And the reason why I said that kind of brought me back to the Seahawks game is because it's such a low total of 42 in that Seahawks game. And I think oftentimes we kind of correlate the total or low total with the dog catching points. But as of recent, we've kind of seen those lower totals and higher favorites covering those games, and the game's still going under. The dog just not being able to score, and then going back to Seattle. I mean, 7 points in the first game, not too impressive in the second game just a couple weeks ago, only scoring 13 points. So, like I said, they want to run the ball against the 49ers. So that might slow down the clock, sure. But, I don't know. That's why, I keep mentioning these two games because they have the same exact, it's like the same type of instance, it's the same line. Both of these lines are at 10. Both of these are divisional games. And we both have, obviously on opposite sides here, but both have teams without their starting quarterback. And so, you got a team in the Ravens without their starting quarterback catching 9 points. And then you got a team in the 49ers without their star quarterback laying 10 points. I kind of want to retract my lean on that Seahawks. I'm not going to say I lean 49ers, but I just want to retract that and just kind of say here, this is a great example of key players getting ruled out and an over adjustment. This line opened 6, climbed up to 9. We're looking at 10 right now. It's too much of a line movement for me to play the Bengals. And if you got in at 6, great for you, but I'm pretty sure most of our listeners didn't lay the 6 or catch the 6. The Ravens, they're a well-balanced team defensively. I'm not sure who they're going to try out there, probably Huntley. But I don't know if there's necessarily a great drop-off of Huntley and Lamar at this very instance in terms of what the team is going to expect. 16 points the last 2 weeks, 17 points the week prior. This team is good for 16 points plus with or without Lamar. So, I'm just not inclined here. They lost by 11 just last week on the road. And then they have to go right back up there and play them again. And I just think this is the instance in which they cover. So I'll lean Ravens here. I just can't lay it with the Bengals. I don't think they're a consistent playoff type of caliber team. And I mean, we saw them last year against the Raiders, obviously cover that one on their way to the Super Bowl. But I just can't really play it or lay it here with the Bengals. So lean Ravens, probably will pull the trigger on this one. I'll pull the trigger on this one way before I pull the trigger on the Saturday game, that being the Seahawks. So,
all right, Sound Man, what do you think about this game? Cincinnati laying 9.5.
Yeah, it's funny that Rome brings up the Seahawks and 49ers game being in correlation because this kind of is the same type of game. And just like how I pretty much love the 49ers as the team that's catching the points, I like the Bengals as well. All right. I don't think it's two teams.
Wait, I don't like the Bengals.
No, I'm saying that I like the Niners, the one that's got 9.5, and I like the Bengals as well. With the
okay, gotcha.
So here we are. Everything Rome said was just great. I mean, like last week, yes, you know what I'm saying? You hung in there a little bit, but it's like, no, man. It's week 18.
They didn't cover. Bengals covered last year. Last week, the Ravens did not cover.
But they hung in there, and it probably was like, okay, if you can kind of hang in there a little bit, okay, what makes us think that, the following week in the playoffs is going to be different? I think there's a difference. The Bengals knew this week 18. Like, we really don't care too much. We can let them linger around. Like, it's winning time. Yes, the Bengals haven't been consistent in playoff wins. This is a new regime. Their first year in the playoffs with this new regime was last year. So here we go. This is how you be consistent. You go out here, you beat this ailing Ravens team. The offense is garbage. It's kind of disrespectful that you just say there's not too much of a drop-off as far as scoring, even though the points...
Well, no. Let's not say talent. I'm saying just the results. The results of Lamar and Huntley. I mean, this team has basically scored 16 points in all 4 of their last 5 games. And the only difference was when they scored 17 points. So that's what I mean. Obviously, there's a huge difference between Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley. I'm talking about the scoring and the results of recent.
Understood. Anyway, I think the Bengals going to turn it on here, right? I think they probably kind of feel disrespected. Everybody's talking Chiefs. Everybody's talking Bills, relocation game. It's like, hey, did you forget about us? We just represented the AFC last year. I think they've been playing really good football this year. You said they kind of haven't. I feel like they've been playing like solid fucking football here. I think you can go out here, beat this Ravens team that just, it just looks bad on offense. you know, and who the hell is checking all these skill players? I asked some people a couple of weeks ago, what is the Bengals' overall weakness besides the offensive line? I really don't know. I really don't know what I
Can't run
can.
the ball.
Oh yeah, but yeah, running the ball. Running the ball is, you know, I mean, they have the guys to run, right? They just, I guess they can't. Well, that would probably equate back to the offensive line at that point. But shit, man, I don't have nothing for this, man. I think again, it's gonna look to me like how I think the Niners and Seahawks game is gonna go, like a dominating game of a divisional opponent. And let's get out of there. But like let's implement us like we are here. We're the Bengals. I like the 9.5. I'll take it. So go Bengals here, man. Who
All
they?
right, there it is. But the Ravens did cover last week. It closed at 11.5.
There you go. There you go. So now it's like, yo, like these guys cover.
Well, that's not where most people got it. That's not where most people got it. And that line was 10 and 10 all week. Most people play 10.
All right, that's fair. All right. But yeah, that's the slate for us. Monday night game for the Monday morning pod. But before we get out of here, tease me picks. Teaser picks.
I mean, this is the best week to do it.
No
this
doubt.
Is it.
I agree.
This is the best week to do teaser picks.
2 teams, 6 points.
Yeah.
Rome, go ahead. We got one.
Oh yeah. I mean, off rip, we'll tease the Giants up, and then I'll also tease those Bills down.
Yeah, for me, I will also tease the Bills down to -7 and Jacksonville up to 8.5. So that's my play this week. Sound man, what you got? Tease me picks.
There's such a high variance game, that Jacksonville game. So high variance. That's the only reason I didn't go there. But I was kind of there with you on that thought.
Like I was just saying, though, I feel very confident in both the Bengals and the Niners. So I'll tease them both down to 3.5.
Wow, those are bad numbers to get on the teaser, my brother.
Hey.
All right, he's believing. All right, there it is. Oh, before we get out of here, best bets. Let's remind him. I gave out what's the guy's name? Oh, George Kittle over 3.5 receptions. You can get that -125, still some spots. So go get that. That is my best bet this week. And I got some more for the Discord. But yeah, Ron, what's your best bet?
Best bet, Giants +3, week 19.
All right, and Soundman special.
The Giants, man.
New York Giants. All right, there it is. Week 19, been pretty profitable. I might ride with you on a Giants pick room. But yes, that's it for us. We'll be back next week, a few more weeks. Then it's the Super Bowl time. So shout out to y'all, week 19 in the books. And we'll see you soon.
Roll Tide.